Everyone waiting. Thank you for waiting. I'm a little late. So this is the first time I've done a commissions draw along live stream, and I've just been collecting the reference, and my OBS just wanted to do a system restart thing, and everything's happening at the same time. If you're joining us in Zoom, you can mute YouTube and then I won't hear myself. And yeah, Zoom is open for those who want to hang out and chat. Thank you all for being here from Quebec, Barcelona, Germany, Switzerland, the Canary Islands. Yeah, thank you for being here. Ike, where exactly are you? And Zan, I know you've told me and I've forgotten where exactly you live. But thank you all for being here. It's really cool to have you here. So yeah, we've done a lot of these. I've done, and I know many of you who are here have done a lot of these draw along live streams with me. And this is the first time I'm doing a commissions live stream where I've asked people if they would like me to draw something for them, and they will give me money and we all draw it together. And I'm super excited for everyone who is playing along with this game. And Aki from Leeds, cool. Lydia's in Quebec, yeah, which I think I said already. So we have a 5-minute person and a 5-minute cat and a 20-minute dog, and Steph did not specify how long. We're working on a portrait for Steph's sister's birthday, and we'll just see how we go. We're just going to painting. Dan is painting in the garden shed in Redmond, Washington State. Oh wow, I'm so familiar with your space, Anne, and I never imagined it was in a shed. Sheds are just wonderful places. All right, I'm going to show you my workspace, and I think you should see me too. So I just had to. Oh, there's this. Muted. Why muted? That's strange. And start camera, please. My head is shrunk, and on YouTube you can't see it. Thank you for sticking with me while I figure this out. This is R, by the way. Jane's adorable child. Capital R. And I'll see if I can get this to work. Wait a minute. Oops. Thank you. Thank you that you've all waited, and thank you that you're still waiting. Maybe this will work. This worked. It worked. Hooray. It's giving me two options for the OBS virtual camera. One of them turns everything off, and the second one works. So here we are. I did not have the time to put my reference together in a PDF, but I can lock the focus on my camera. And so yeah, we'll be starting with the drawing of R in the snow. Prime R, Jane said, in the element of snow. Favorite colors on. And yeah, this is going to be a... Hey, Sam is here. Sam Bristly, who joined us for Drawn Together on Thursday, which was... We had a wonderful time together. Okay. There's nothing in this part of the frame, but that's okay. Oh, drawing on a crammed dining home office, kids art table in Vienna. Daniel, excellent. Yeah, let us know where exactly you're drawing. Garden shed for Zan, crammed dining table in Vienna for Danielle, what you're going to be working with. I'm going to be using different mediums for different drawings, and I hope you're going to be able to see this all right, because that looks like super overexposed. I hope I'm going to be able to see this. I've darkened it so that everyone can see. And I'm going to start this with a color pencil drawing. This is going to be 10 minutes. I don't have my other peripheral camera set up at the moment, so you just have to believe me that it's going to be 10 minutes. And yeah, we're starting with this drawing of R. And I have these blue and magenta pencils, which I like a lot. So I'll start with these. And maybe I'll grab green as well or something. But I have pencils, I have ink, I have watercolors here, and working on a few commissions. My mother is here. Good morning. Hurrah. Hooray. My dear mother has woken up to join us. You're going to draw along with us, Mum? And if anyone along the course of our drawing session, I notice some people are already drawing, it looks like, in the Zoom room. If you would like to join in Zoom, then if you know the way, you can find your way through my website. If you follow the links in the description, and then you can come hang out with us in Zoom. And if anyone wants to commission a portrait sketch or a longer piece while we're working, I've been posting all about it on Instagram, and starting at 25 euros for a 10-minute drawing, and then working way up in increments of 10 minutes and of 25 euros. Yeah, those are the options. And as I get drawing, I'll be able to tell you why I'm doing this. Apart from the fact that everyone needs to earn money somehow. But there's a special, strange thing that has led to this today. Okay. Special strangeness. I talked about it last year, where I thought I was going to do a gig, and it turned up just being a series of unlikely non-happenings. All right, let's start drawing. 10 minutes with R. Hey, Terry. So yeah, I was lined up for a gig in Berlin in December. And I remember talking about it in a live stream, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to this gig and we're going to practice some 10-minute portraits because I need practice, and that's what I'm going to be doing at this gig. And there were also this it was like a domino series of events, which was really cool on the one side, where it was like, oh, someone's asked me to come and draw for a couple of days, and that's really cool. And then there was... I was like, oh, while I'm there, I could do a workshop in Berlin. That would be super cool. And I did give a workshop, and I put it out there. Does anyone know a workshop space? And some people did know spaces. And some people know this story. And yeah. And then it was like, oh wow, everything is falling into place. This is so cool. I've got a workshop space, and I'm gonna be doing 2 days of 8-hour days of 10-minute portrait sketches, which is what I love doing. And I'm just switching it into concentrating mode. And then I'm going to follow that up with a workshop, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so cool, and I'm going to earn money at the same time, because drawing is how I earn money. And then, like 2 days before I was going to go to Berlin, I was contacted by the agency, which had got in touch with me, and they're like, "Oh, it's not going to happen." I was like, "Ah, okay." Oh, but even before that, there were things like I had ordered a special paper that I really wanted to use, and it didn't come. I was like, "Oh no, the paper's not going to arrive," and then the order of the specific paper I want, I couldn't get, so I went to an art supply store and bought other paper, and I like tried to buy this paper in 4 different ways. And then I had ordered some fancy clothes because it was going to be a fancy event, and then the jacket came to my street, but I had put the wrong number, the reverse of the number, in my order, so it came down the street and then went back to the other side of the country. I was like, "Oh, I don't have that jacket." Okay. And then there was a day where the washing machine stopped working and my credit card got hacked, which was like the same day that the gig got cancelled. And then there were train strikes, and they were like, "Oh, public transport and the long distance trains, everything's striking." It's like, "Oh, okay, this is special." But I'm like, "But the job's cancelled. All these other things are going on, but I've still got the workshop, and the workshop's going to be awesome." And it was awesome. But it just was like a series of strange happenings. All these things like not quite working out. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And once, with the help of a friend who found me this space, I got to the place, and the space that I thought I would be renting was full of furniture, and there was a big space just outside of it, and we're like, "Oh, okay, that space is full of furniture, but this space is not, so let's just do it here." And it turns out that no one should have been using that space on the weekend, which me and my friend, who had organized it through a friend of a friend, who had said, "Yeah, you can use that space." Apparently the space should not have been used. So they were not too happy about it because no one should have been there. And they ended up asking for the rent of the entire big space, which was like 10 times as much as I thought the rent was going to be. And it was just like, oh, wow. Quite a thing. After this whole series of strange things going on, I was just like, what is going on? And my knee-jerk reaction was like, okay, the money that I earned from the workshop, I will contribute and just not earn anything, which my dear wife was not in agreement with, and I sort of didn't feel quite right about it, because it wasn't mine or my friend's fault, but there was a big communication issue, and then Kira was like, if you could like do a live stream where you sell the work, and that kind of raised some money to go towards this kind of disproportionate fee which is incurred, then Kira said I would feel better about that than you giving all the money that you earned from the workshop away. So I was like, oh, okay, on the weekend I'll do a live stream and do commissions, which is actually something that a friend of mine suggested in 2019, even before lockdown. Was like, you should do live streams and sell your work on from the live streams. And this is the first time I'm doing it. And some people got on board and were like, yeah, draw my kid, draw my pet, draw me, my sister, and it all just came together in the space of a couple of days. And here we are doing this, which is fun. And I feel like this would be a good thing to do more often. So keep in mind that in the future, perhaps it would be possible, maybe once a month, or I don't know how often, but I do a lot of these live streams, and perhaps once a month there could be a commission live stream, and everyone can draw along. And for those of you who would like to commission something, then I will draw the person or thing that you want in like an allotted space of frame of time, and it will be fun, and we can hang out in Zoom, we can draw together, and it'll be way cool like it is right now. So that's like the short story of what led to the decision to make this a commission live stream. A series of unlikely events. The workshop was really good. It was so much fun. Worth it. Worth all of the strangeness surrounding it. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure how we do it on the fly. If anyone who's watching wants to commission something as we're working, let me know, and somehow send me the image you'd like me to draw, or just say that you would like a thing, and I can choose. And then on the in-between times, I will somehow get the reference up, and we will draw that thing together for you. Or in future months, if there's a particular someone or something you would like me to, like all of us, to do a sketch of, then this could become a recurring thing, which I think would be cool. What do you all say to that? How will I get the message? That is a good question. Thank you, Shannon. I'm glad I have such a wonderful friend by my side. All of my friends who helped me out. Thank you. So you could send me an email. You could contact me, send me a message via Instagram direct messaging. I won't get it while I'm painting, but I could take little breaks and check. And if someone's in the chat and says, hey, I want you to draw my great-great-grandfather, or any person, then you can just let me know, send me a reference, and I'll draw that person. Or for X number of minutes, exactly. Specify the time. 10 minutes for 25 euros. And we'll do it. It'll be cool. All right, that is 10 minutes with R. And I would like to keep going, but here we are at 10 minutes. And sometimes I may just feel like spending a little bit longer, and maybe I will, because this is my live stream. Hi, JJ. Okay, but that's it for now. What a cool hat. Beanie. Do you say beanie in the States? To those of you who are from the States. What do you call warm headgear where you live? Everyone in the chat, in the comments can let me know. That's 10 minutes. Maybe I'll spend longer later, but let's move along. Is Steph here? Oh, we're gonna be drawing this cat, because Steph has not specified a time, and maybe Steph will join and then specify the time. So, the cat was not. Somehow my phone was not communicating with my iPad, just because I'm about to do a live stream and I've like my tech to work, and then it's just like whatever. So we have this cat called Perla, and I will just get the cat up over here, and feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I got, how many? Nine new zines. It's taken a year for me to get them printed, but now I have. And yesterday I picked up 9 new zines from the printers. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of zines. Thank you, Aphrodite. I just gonna grab a screenshot of Perla, your glorious cat. I really like this one image. No more good girls. Yeah, so that was the name of the post was No More Good Girls, and such a wonderful stare you're all about to be treated to. This is so good. Here. All right, check that out. What a cat. I love this photo. So good. No More Good Girls, the name of the post. Oh, that's nice. My granddad, Karen Sarah's dear dad, 92 years old, has a frame painting on his fridge that I painted of him about a year ago. He loves it and is so proud of Dylan. Oh, that's nice. I was thinking about granddad today. So yeah, we're about to draw Perla for 10 minutes, and Aphrodite requested an ink drawing. So I wonder how well... Oh, that looks better. You can see the drawing a bit better now. Maybe I can even make the picture a bit brighter. So last week, OBS just kind of freaked out and stopped working and everything was going strange. So I had to reinstall it and I've had to like readjust my setup. But now, Perla, this amazing cat for 10 minutes. First time, is it the first time in one of these live streams? I know in Drawn Together we've drawn a couple of animals, a couple of dogs, but maybe the first time during a 10-minute portrait stream that it's a portrait of a cat. So here we go, 10 minutes with Perla, in ink this time. So, all right, let's do it. So for those who don't know, my sister used to be a dog walker, the best dog walker in Melbourne. That's what I'm saying. That wasn't her marketing or anything, because she's not doing it anymore. But she had this idea. She was like, you could do pet portraits, Dylan. I was like, okay, I'll do pet portraits. And it was really fun because we thought, oh, we get to do this together, and because we live very, very far away from each other, me being in Germany and Claire in Australia. And for like however long it was, half a year, when we kind of thought, hey, this could be a thing, we were in touch a lot and trying to figure out how we could like make it work. And so I did a whole bunch of pet portraits. And so when Aphrodite, when you were like, could you draw a dog and now a cat as well, I was like, oh, I can draw a dog. And there's actually an Instagram account called Dylan Sarah _ pet portraits for the curious. And yeah, there are drawings and paintings of pets on that Instagram account, which nothing has been posted to since 2020. And yeah, it's a mix of ink drawings, pencil drawings, oil paintings, and watercolor. So the fun thing about that phase is I was still learning and exploring a lot, trying out different medium, and basically said to everyone, oh, like, you just, like, what medium would you like me to use? There weren't that many commissions, that's why it's not still happening. But and I do love animals, but I'm enjoying this right now, but I really enjoy drawing and painting people. So it kind of gravitated back in that direction. Yeah, Yeah, but I basically was like, I can do this, 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 and this. And yeah, I had some fun drawing and painting some animals. This shadow with the whiskers over it. How would you do that, Zan? Zan, who's hanging out in Zoom, is also a pet portrait artist. If you had 7 minutes, I'm just wondering, the whiskers over the shadow. Oh, do a scratch so the ink doesn't fall in it. I don't know. Can I do that? Is that a thing I can do? That's an interesting idea. I was thinking about inking it and then putting white pencil on top, but oh yeah, I'm not dogmatic about anything. But that's an interesting idea. Just scratching it. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how well this paper would take to scratching. So this is Hana Müller Nostalgie paper. And today I got this block of 25 sheets and it's size A1. And I think I could curl up in the fetal position on this paper. It's so big. It's so big. Yeah, I was like Holly took it out of the box with me and I was like, oh Holly, this paper's as big as you. And then it was like, oh wait a minute, it's as big as me. Like that me sitting cross-legged behind it. It was. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, because I also thought, what am I even going to do with this giant paper? It's like yeah. All right, let's see if this works. We might get some bonus time. If this does not work, then I'll have to do something else over it. But I'm going to scratch the paper. Because Zan said so. Well, actually, it only needs to be here where the shadow is, I guess. So I don't know if this is going to work, but here I go. Yeah, where the highlight is, but the ink may just flood it. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Then yeah, yeah. I have this gel pen which is no good. A white gel pen and it's rubbish. And I have a white pencil which is only good if something is really, really dark underneath it and dry. Otherwise it's no good. How's everyone doing? How do you say the name of the kid? Just R, capital R is the name of the kid. Haha. There's another version, but that is the version for us today. Oh, really? Oh, this is making the whiskers darker. Well, that's nice. See that? See that? The whiskers. The scratch didn't work. Maybe I should have scratched after. Is that what you meant? Put ink on and scratch later? Because but that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. But that's interesting. That's okay. Then we get bonus time because it didn't work. Yeah, I've learnt something. No, I don't. I love listening to you. If anyone in the chat has ideas about how do you go about this kind of thing where you have a super fine detail and you want it like white whiskers on top of a shadow. If anyone has any tips in the chat, or in the comments. Feel free to share with us. You know how you do it. I do. That was a good idea. It's still a good idea. Bazan's idea was compelling and scary and new, so... and wrong. So it was worth trying out during a live stream. The execution was wrong. It was a good idea. We'll see. So what I'm doing now, where I'm just like going around the whiskers, that's what I wanted to avoid because there were so many whiskers in there. But that's all right. I'm doing it. Hey Matt, blessings from New Mexico. Apologies for the US Empire. I accept your apology. What is happening? That was something I wanted to talk about actually, because today there have been demonstrations all around Germany commemorating the 4th anniversary of the murder of 9 people in a shisha bar in Hanau. And yeah, there've been demonstrations all over the place, and it's like pales in it's terrible, and was and is terrible, and pales in comparison to what the US Empire is doing right now. So thank you for apologizing. That's a nice introduction. I'll remember you, Matt, John. Yeah, what is going on? This is something I found, like, coming from growing up in Australia. I live in Germany. Germany should know better. But it's so strange because I know so many people and who, you know, don't think like the decisions which are being made. This could be it is a whole big topic for a whole conversation, a whole live stream, which would be very different than my usual live streams. But I yeah, definitely want to acknowledge what's going on, and shout out to everyone who was out there today in remembrance of the attack in Hanau 4 years ago, and everyone who cares about all people. Thank you for caring, and we'll keep caring and do what we can. That's 10 minutes. Yes, it is. That is 10 minutes. Where's my white pencil? I know. So, yeah, Aphrodite, who's watching but not active in the chat. I hope you like this drawing. Thank you, JJ. Yeah, that was fun. When I saw this and Aphrodite said, I'd like you to do ink. And I was like, oh, this white cat with the shadow in the background. This is so cool. So thank you for the commission. And thank you for this awesome photo to work from. Are there things I want to add? I'll leave it for now. Otherwise I'm going to ink all over my hands. So there might be some finesse later on. But that was our 10-minute cat. Aphrodite's here. Cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Oh, look, the profile picture. That's so good. Baloo is up in the profile picture there, licking your face. All right. What did Steph say? Steph said it's going to take time. Okay, we will draw Baloo now for 20 minutes. We're going to do 20-minute portraits, so we're stepping it up a bit. And if anyone else would like to commission a portrait, let me know. Let me grab Baloo. Why is my phone not communicating with my iPad? And while I'm grabbing this, I'll just put this up here. I got zines. I made 9 new zines. Each of them has 16 pages and a whole bunch of portraits. A lot of them were done during live streams. All of these ones, for example, were all done during live streams. Hayao Miyazaki, one of my favorite 10-minute maybe my favorite, just in general, my favorite 10-minute portrait I've ever done. How's everyone doing? What do you mean, Terry? You're stealing time. You're still working on it. Okay. Okay. That's not going to work. Okay, Aphrodite. I found another picture of Baloo, which I thought was a happy, fun one. And let me know if you're happy with this one, with a really, really big smile. But there was another one as well, which had really cool shadow shapes, which are helpful to draw. And Aphrodite, you could put your Instagram account name in the chat. I know you have a private account, but people could tag you in the drawings they post of your beautiful pets. That would be cool. Which is, I can say it as well, is _ BOOBALOO _ Boobaloo. That one, which is not super high resolution, but I'm just going to put it in here. Also, if you saw Daniel, yeah, short time frames are short, but it's really good practice. Wow, I am not used to the short time frames. Yeah, the next one's going to be twice as long. So it's going to feel really long. And yeah, I've done a whole bunch of live streams. All the replays are available on my YouTube channel. I've done a lot of 10-minute portrait live streams where we just practice 10-minute portraits one after the other. And it's really good practice and really fun. Okay, so Aphrodite, we have Sunshine. Let's call this picture Sunshine. And the other one I brought up is this kind of close-eyed, happy smile. These are the two that I thought would be really cool to draw. Aphrodite says, don't tell Perla that I paid more for the dog. Okay, okay. Don't tell Perla. Don't tag Perla in your posts, anyone. So, this close-eyed and happy, or this sunshine, a bit lower resolution, but also happy. I'll just wait a moment, have a drink. So Aphrodite can respond to my question. Which version, which Baloo should we draw? And everyone else can vote in the chat which of these two images you prefer. And Aphrodite's vote outweighs everyone else's. Okay. Underscore BOOBALOO underscore Boobaloo _ So, Aphrodite, the close-eyed one. Yes, I love this one too. It's really, really cool. So this is our next one. And for those of you stealing time, you can start drawing already as I quench my thirst. Okay, so this is interesting. Just thinking of it being an ink ink one, because there's this, like, really intense, like around the mouth, the eyes, the nose, really dark, really black, and there's a lot of kind of the shadow area. I think of the midtones that will be more like a diluted ink. So I think I'll start, since we have so much time, twice as much. I'll start with pencil, just to make sure I've got things in the right place. There's a lot going on. If you've never drawn a dog before, this is going to be a bit different than drawing a human face, but only a bit different, because you still would just look at what's there. What can you see? That's what you draw. Okay, I'll set a 10-minute timer for the drawing, and then I'll do another 10 minutes for the inking. So I will get the drawing set up and then get inking. My dear sister, who I've already mentioned in this live stream, has a golden retriever puppy, Poppy McSara, who must, I don't know, is Mum still here? How old is Poppy? So it was really nice. I also did an oil painting of a golden retriever, which is on the still present but inactive Dylan Sarah Portrait Instagram account. I have not. Shannon did a really nice drawing of Poppy, but I have not done a portrait of Poppy yet. Yeah? That's great. She is adorable and she's so funny. Does your dog have an Instagram account as well, Terry? Okay. He's also inactive. just a lurker. An observer. I was going to say lurker, but observer. I have no problem with lurkers. Yeah, that's nice. What's your dog's name again? Winston, yeah. At Winsty Pie, okay. So here we have some whiskers over the dark mouth. How are we going to do these whiskers? So I do a lot of like direct to ink drawing, but something I've noticed in some of these live streams is I've found that if I do a pencil drawing beforehand and then like with half the time, that is also a good way to go about doing things, because some of the subtler things in such a short time frame, I don't know, it helps me kind of get things in place, and then I can go in and emphasize the things I want, and kind of needs a strategic approach, because you can't, if there's going to be midtones in the ink, then it can't really be fully dark like in the nose, because then it would just bleed out, and at least the way I'm doing it. And Aphrodite, it was so cool looking through your Instagram and seeing that you've done like classes of mine, and I remember seeing your picture back in the day, but like you did the 2020 Inktober 30 Faces 30 Days, and I really liked your sketch of Jaw Cooper from Drawn Together, and it was really nice to seeing your artwork in amongst the pet photos. So there is something about like doing these pencil drawings beforehand. It doesn't have the same the boldness that going direct to ink does. But hang on, I just got distracted by the chat. Yeah, so it kind of misses some of that immediacy of going straight to ink, but let's do it now. I'm only 5 minutes in, but I'm not going to wait 10 minutes. I feel like I've got things in a good place, so I'll go for it. I'm going to not dip my ink brush in my drinking water yet. It's in a risky place, I just realized. Really? It's stopping here, right? If you want a bit more fur, there you go. Okay, so I will. That's better. Yeah. So now just figuring out where to put all these midtones. That's going to get really black, but I wanted the highlight on the nose not to be totally bright, so I've just put this watery wash over it. Oh, look at that. There's some blue in there. That's okay. Yeah, Aphrodite, if you ever reschedule or have a Tuesday off, yeah, come sketch with us. We would always happy having new people join. That goes for anyone watching this. You can come draw with us, sketch with us every Tuesday in my Zoom room. So that's where I've done most of my timed portrait practice, is my weekly Tuesday sketch sessions, which have almost, in March, it will be 4 years without missing a Tuesday of portrait sketching on Tuesdays. Even from a hospital bed, even from holiday, even on my birthday, on Kira's birthday. But this, what's that? Yeah, when I was on holiday, I did it from my car, because in the hostel, all the youths playing games on their smartphones were hogging the bandwidth. Claire. Claire is here. So Poppy's 8 months old now, almost. I've been talking about you, Claire. I know that in the reference the background is not dark like this, but it's going to just make blue really pop out from the page, putting that dark background behind. Oh, I just realized Aphrodite. I saw the portrait of Dan holding the burning match. That was 30 Faces 30 Days. That was not the Inktober 30 Faces 30 Days. So that was actually one of my first ever online tutorials. That was the first ever 30 Faces 30 Days I was invited to teach in. So cool. You've been with me from the beginning. And now I'm drawing your pets. All right, our first 10 minutes is up, and we have another 10 minutes now. Yeah, that one with the match. Ah, it was so cool. I loved that one as well. It was such a good reference and so much fun to work on. Uh-oh, Claire? What do you mean, uh-oh? There was another brush which I thought I had reserved for ink. Oh well, I'll use this one that I used with the watercolors before. I really like this brush. It's like a flat with a slanted edge. I don't know if it has a special name. A brush that I bought in this closing down sale of a little art shop in Witzenhausen. An angle shader. Oh wow. Oh yeah, I love this brush. You can get like super fine like line work, basically, some really interesting mark making with it because it's got such a cool point. Like any flat is really cool for getting interesting marks, but yeah, this one has even more kind of possibilities. Aha! The murky color palette. Okay. All right. Ah, cool. Mum said that the match painting is one of Dad's favorite paintings of mine. Yeah, interesting. So this is cool. This has got a bit of dry brush thing happening at the moment, which is really cool for fur. When the brush dries out and the bristles separate and you get these distinctly different lines within the one brush stroke. It's pretty cool. How's everyone who's drawing along? Is there anyone here who's never done a dog or a cat portrait before? And as I mentioned, if anyone else wants to commission a portrait, you can do so at any time. And you can specify the time frame, the medium, time frame / price. Got 4 minutes left, and I've got my calligraphy pen here. This should be darker. Some of the details I feel like would be nice if they're a bit crisper and darker. I really love the layering, the transparent layers in the ink wash, but there are some details which will I feel like benefit from the definition of this pen. I often get puzzled by the shape of the nose. Like, I know that I've drawn a dog nose a few times, but when it gets really dark like this, it's like, oh, what's actually happening in there? I've not internalized the dog nose anatomy. Ah, cool. I look forward to seeing what you do with your angle shader. There are so many different paintbrushes that it's like, what are they? Some of them are just like, what are they intended for? And I only ended up with this one because it was a closing down sale at this art shop, and I was like, oh yeah, that's still here, so I'll take it. Lickety split. Claire would like to hug this dog. Who else? You can let us in the chat. Who would like to hug this dog? Yeah. I don't want to be presumptuous, but it does look like quite the huggable dog. Or someone who's been punished by dogs in the past for being too intimate and familiar. Yeah, yeah. Dogs are animals that don't necessarily want to be touched. Yeah, yeah. It definitely depends. Do you have another dog that you've named after Eddie? Yeah. Like okay. A song. So it could be a dog named Even Flow. All right. That's our 20 minutes with Baloo. This has been fun. Thank you, Baloo. Thank you, Aphrodite. I hope you like this. Claire says this dog wants to be touched. Oh, and Aphrodite says that she is the best. We have regular hug sessions on the floor. Nice. Okay. 20 minutes with Baloo. You love it. I love that you love it. That's so good. Thank you for sharing your pets and love. I'm just going to... I said it's finished, but I'm just going to put some more ink into the background. And Steph, are you here, Steph? I don't know if you're here. Because Steph sent me a few different pics and I wasn't sure which one to work from, but thank you, Leslie. Thanks, Claire. Cool. A bit of extra ink. There we go. I can just keep going. Where does it need to be? Darker. All right, that'll do. So, thank you, JJ. All right, let's do this portrait of Steph's sister. Hi, Corinna. I'll grab some watercolor paper for this one because Steph didn't actually specify. I said it's going to need some time because it's going to be a birthday gift, so maybe I'll get my watercolor paper. And since I've been moving everything around today, I'm going to have to look for it. How long is the one going to be? 20? Maybe longer. How long should this be? Steph hasn't specified how long do people want to work on this portrait. It could be 40 minutes because she said it's going to need time. Hey, Barbara's here. Hello, Shin. I need to get my watercolor paper. I'll put Baloo back up here. Did you just join us, Barbara? Look, we drew Pella, a cat. Or if you want to get started early, as I'm looking for my paper, I'll just leave Steph's sister up here for everyone. Here we go. Is Sam still here? He was in the beginning. This is Sam from Thursday. That was fun with Sam. On the one hand, Shannon's tech not cooperating was that I didn't feel like I was finished, and I probably could have kept talking to Sam for another hour. But then I realized, oh, I probably... Sam is still here! Cool. Here you are. What was I just about to say? Oh yeah, it was probably also good. Because I thought, oh, now I can go to sleep early. But I didn't go to sleep early anyway. Because I was looking at everyone's posts, and sometimes Thursdays are late nights for me. Okay, so this paper is a little bit bigger and a bit nicer for wet media. Let's work on a portrait. So, are people in the crowd, would you be happy to work on a 40-minute portrait, or would you feel like that's too long? Because Steph didn't really specify. She said it's going to need time. You're into it? That's a vote for 40 minutes. That'd be a nice kind of incremental increase from 5, 5, 20, 40. So we'll do it. 40 minutes. And I will put my timer on, and I can... set it for, I don't know if I'm going to need 20 minutes to do the drawing. Do it, okay. But thank you for your encouragement, everyone. Did anyone say, and did I miss it, that did anyone else say that they want me to do a portrait for them? I don't think so, but if so, let me know. I don't know Steph's sister's name. Steph's sister, Steffa. But maybe don't tag Steph if this is going to be a present and a surprise. Some cool shapes in the hair. So I have just finished recording a watercolor portrait class. And a little spoiler is that in one of the sessions I'm doing hair. I'm talking about like the different shapes of the highlights and shadows, and I thought I'd do something interesting by just using kind of wacky colors which were not present and in the reference. And then at some point I was just like, what am I doing? What am I looking at? This is confusing. And I put all this effort into making all these different shapes and doing different colors and stuff, and then I just like smooshed over it and melded it all together because it was just like very confusing. And that worked. I was like, oh, this is cool. I can now paint on top of that, and it's going to be okay. Good question. Would I do that again on purpose? I did like it. And I think we're talking about it with Sam. It was one of those moments where it was like, oh no, I've wrecked it. I was like, well, if I've wrecked it, I can just kind of do what I want with it. And then it worked out and unwrecked it. But I'd done the face and was like really happy with the face. And then with the hair, I was like, ah. But it just kind of, it unified all of these values. It like made it dark, and there was interesting things happening within the colors. So yeah, it would be worth experimenting with, like doing it intentionally. Intentionally going to an uncomfortable place. And I guess that's the thing, that's how we learn, right? We do these things and not quite sure about it. And well, that's very light for everyone at home. I hope you can see the drawing. Yeah, by doing something that's different. Oh, there's this really cool David Bowie quote, right? Where it's like, if you're just out of your depth and don't feel quite sure about what you're doing, that's a good place to be working from in a creative pursuit, because then you're kind of close to what you know, but it's not what you always do, so it's like a bit different and unknown. And then that was something that I really felt with that. Yeah. Barbara is looking forward to that class. It's actually a watercolor class, because when I asked on a Tuesday sketch evening, what medium should I make my next class in? And Barbara said, watercolor. So thank you for that nudge. The Tuesday group is powerful. Yeah, I'm really curious how people will like the class. Like as I was making it, it's interesting. Like I was in the flow of these things, and it was feeling like interesting that some classes I was like, so some of the tutorials I'm kind of in that area where I'm kind of like a bit unsure myself, but then I kind of make it through, and I'm really curious how it's going to be to participate in and to watch and draw and paint along with. And in the beginning, like I said, and I think it's for all levels. Like I feel like there's some pretty advanced stuff in there, but like I basically think, even though it's good to have an understanding of structure and stuff, but if we learn this observational way of putting things together just by like the way angles and shapes and distances, how that all aligns and interacts, then although it can be a bumpy road, I feel like it can be a really interesting way to progress through any drawing, whether it's a portrait or anything. And basically that if you learn to see and learn to really perceive what you're looking at, then you can refine ways of how you represent what you see. Yeah. And that was also the reason why I now have 9 new zines, because it is we do 15 separate watercolor portraits and make a 16-page zine with it. And I just picked up my zines from the printers yesterday, and I had a whole bunch of zine files from last year, which I just hadn't got around to getting printed yet. And now I have got them all printed. And I have 9 zines. Including one of the watercolor portraits I did in January. And a bunch of the 10-minute portrait streams, the sketches, and 30 Faces to 30 Days from January last year. Because there were a lot of them in that set that I really liked, so they are now a zine. There's no drawn together zine yet, but we have 46 episodes that we've done. There's a whole lot of drawn together work. There's actually some of it that particularly the stuff that I've done in watercolor, that since I've been doing so much with watercolor recently and have become a bit bolder in my choices and a bit more, I've just been pushing things a bit more. And I see like the one of Peter Salmi, that it's just over there. And I was thinking, I should really come back to that, because I feel like it could, with what I've been doing recently, I can add a lot more kind of vitality to it. Yeah, that would be interesting, right? And the one of Cooper, like sometimes I look up at that and I'm like, there are some things I could change. And I've never really done that before. I've never gone back to pieces that I usually just do it and then it's done. But now that I have all this stuff hanging on my wall behind me, and I see the way I'm kind of developing things, and I'm like, I could do a bit more to that. It's really interesting. And I was just thinking, what's that, Shannon? Bye-bye, Mum. You can watch the rest later. You can finish your portrait later, Mum. She's a super sweet mum. Hey, Guru Nadan. And so if people are sharing their work online, particularly on Instagram, you could use this hashtag here, Drawing with Dylan. You could tag me if you're sharing your work. And if anyone would like to commission a portrait at any time in your life, not just within the next few minutes, I like doing commissions. I know that there are artists. I've heard. Was it Camilo? Did Camilo say during Drawn Together something about not wanting to do commissions, and I think Sam even said something about you've got to do things that other people want and not what you want. But presuming I feel good about the reference, then it's like each drawing is a new experience, an opportunity to delve into what I really like doing. So I'm happy to do it for your money if anyone wants a commission. And I have so it could either be in this format, in one of these live streams. I also do bigger stuff, and on my website I have a commissions page. It could be bigger. Anything's possible, really. I now have paper that's as big as me. I'm not sure how I'd get the finished work to anyone who doesn't live in my town. But in a mailing tube. Yeah, it's nostalgia paper. It's the same paper I was using here. So I could roll it up. It's just as big as me. Big as me in the fetal position. All right, this is with 13 minutes in, and I feel like I could start painting on it. I'm going to do it. I just need to make sure I don't use my ink brushes in the watercolor, which I think is these two. It's cool. There's highlights, but everything's kind of, nothing's really white. This is interesting. She looks like Ingrid Bergman, says Lydia. So something I've noticed about, I can't remember exactly when it was, but I moved to working on an upright surface, which I think is great. But with watercolors and like ink wash pieces, I really like the strange blooming forms that happen when it's on a flatter surface, and you still get cool watery stuff happening, but the kind of, like with a lot of my ink work, I would just let these puddles of ink dry, and it was really interesting because you just get these wonderful, unpredictable kind of shapes coalescing. And on the upright surface, that doesn't happen so much because the gravity just brings the pigment down, but it leads to other interesting things happening. I'm using Grise's paint set and Grise's brush. Our dear friend Grise, the Grinsel, the Grise pencil. Yeah, I told him. I told him beforehand. I was like, "Hey, do you have any of that stuff? Yeah, give me the stuff. Have you got it in stock?" Because I got to meet Grise in the flesh, in person, in December when I when I went to the job that didn't work out. And he had said, so there's a Schminker paints, and they're really nice. And that he was going to an event, and the people from Schminker were like, "Oh, do you still have your paint sets? Because we're out at the moment. And so could you bring your supply?" And so I got in touch. I was like, "Hey, do you have your stuff? Can I have some?" And he did. So told him that I'm using it. Yeah, and it's really cool. And it's also cool because I like the other watercolor paints that I had, but I know that there's like Grise's fan club, the community, that so many people are working with the same pigments, and so it's really interesting to see what people are doing with them. Maybe there should be a hashtag Grise's stuff, so people can see what other people are doing with the same pigments. What size is it? I think actually, because I have another brush, there's no number on it, but I have another brush which I think is the same size, and it's a 10. So I don't know, could this be a 10? Does that mean anything to you in the United States? Yeah? Yeah, this is quite a fluffy brush. Correct. The smaller is the smaller the number. Yeah, aperture. It's just like some wheels I turn that way and some that way, and it's nice having. Yeah. Am I? Yeah. Am I imagining redness to this hair? I'm gonna. Yeah. So I'm just whacking this red all over here for the highlights, which are actually quite dark. If you squint down and see the skin tone is so light. So that was the first 20 minutes. Can't believe it. The way time shifts, like when you think, oh, I've got more time, and like work in a different kind of way, knowing that there's more time. So basically, this is just what I'm going to leave behind. So I'll just go everything, and then let it dry, and I can still see the shapes that I've made underneath. I don't know what number this is. Number really big round brush. The number the size number that was printed on it has worn off. This is from a set of Da Vinci brand watercolor brushes which I bought at the outset of my taking art seriously journey. Yeah, the watercolor brushes. I've used them for ink as well. I remember Barbara was like, how do you use the brush for anything else if you've used it for ink? But I wash them, massage them, love them, condition them, comb them. Yeah. Talk to them. You're such a beautiful brush. Thank you for your unwavering service. You're so kind. Do you need a break? Yeah. Whatever I can do for you, just let me know. Is that a blue eye? You got a bit of lag, so you probably can't see it while I'm. I'm gonna just realize I'm gonna close my ink well before I go dip in my watercolor brush in there. Ooh. Here's my littlest brush. So what are people up to this weekend? This is it. You're taking an exam at 2:30 in the morning. Oh wow. Did you get to choose your time slot? Okay. Ah, you're at your best in the middle of the night. Yeah, I wish you clarity and knowingness for your exam. May it be amazing. Oh. You'll be great. You are great. Yeah. So everyone will be able to go to Shannon for their fitness needs and advice and nutritional advice. Yeah, I'm already benefiting from it. App recommendation. What color should the jacket be? Black. can take votes for the colour of the jacket. The hair's going to change, but it will have, this is going to be the highlights. So it like intensify on top of there. Yeah, so don't want the jacket competing with the cool hair, right? So there's this thing that happens sometimes when I feel like, oh, some of the detail, and this is what I've done a lot in the class that I've made, is just using the pencil to like re-establish definition, and because even with the super fine brush, I don't want to use like a one hair brush. Yeah, and sometimes just getting super fine, like the indigo pencil, the Polychromos indigo pencil, I found to be really good. But like sometimes I wonder, these smaller tools, like compared to my, what's it called? What's that brush called, Terry? Edger? Angle shader. Like that can get super fine. And then sometimes I try to use this little brush and it's like bloop. Like, what's that? Now my angle shader has ink on it. Oh, it's not too dark though. I'll try. Ah, it's almost clean. I feel like I'm being a bit careful. A bit too careful. Because I just realized it's been half an hour. But maybe something with the jacket dark and watery with some random shapes in it, watercolory shapes to balance out the care taken in the portrait. The care / reluctance, precaution, timidity, yes. I don't know. Oh, that's very bright. Just realize there's a lot of shadow from my hand. So it was actually my friend Said who got me the mural hotel event last year. It was Said in 2019 together with Martin at the Musa, at this cultural centre where I had my co-working space. We were talking about live streaming, and because Martin had told me about this Argentinian farmer who drives across the fields, ploughing the fields with webcams, and that people love watching it, and people just love watching stuff being done on the internet. It's like you could do portraits, and Sad was like, oh yeah, you could just like have people watching, and then he had this vision of just like on the fly. People were like, oh, they'll like send money, and then like, oh, can you paint this? Yeah, bam, paint that, and then the next one and the next one. And I see like Harry Mack, who is amazing. He does these really cool live streams where people in the super chat, they'll like send money and give him a prompt, and he'll freestyle rap to their prompt. And it's amazing to watch because he's just so good, and he just flows. It's so fast. It doesn't have the same kind of immediacy working on a portrait. There's a special magic to that rapping, freestyle rap. But the same kind of idea of just like sitting in a live stream and people are like, hey, paint this. I'm like, yeah, okay. It's a pretty cool idea. Yeah. This mix of color here I really like a lot, which is ultramarine and alizarin crimson. And this palette, it's a really cool mix. When I was at the IMC, Ian McCaig suggested using his go-to colors were ultramarine and burnt sienna, and yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, and it's so cool, like just exploring within the limitation of like just a couple colors what's possible. No, your limited palette's not doing it for you at the moment. Did anyone say what color the jacket should be, apart from black from Shannon? Purpley black. Okay. Yeah, maybe indigo and alizarin crimson could be, because the indigo is really, really dark. I love this brush. Flat brushes are just cool. I cannot hear your stomach growling. I just wondered, my arm went like across the table, and I just noticed when I was editing videos, because I have my microphone on an arm which is connected to a corner of the table, that sometimes there's just like boom, boom that comes through when I like touch down on the table. And I just wonder, because it's a sound that as it's happening I am not aware of, but the mic picks up and does interesting things with. Or sometimes when I'm talking, wave my hands around, I like whack the mic. That's a special sound. Oh, yeah, that kind of stuff is cool. That's 40 minutes. Can't believe it. What's going on with this time? Should we just keep going? Yeah. All right. This. The background should have something. There's this kind of yellowy, light grey, green color going on. So that the face is kind of more in focus. Oh, now I've stolen your reference because I've zoomed in. Sorry about that. Okay, this may turn from a 40-minute to a 1 hour portrait. Yeah, it would just work out because it's like it was an unspecified time frame. And we'll just go with it because this is what we need, what the picture needs right now. Unless anyone watching feels like, hey, I'm done, then you can just hang out and watch, relax. Yeah, go back and cheat on one of the other ones. That was Terry's phrasing. So spend some more time on one of the other ones. Aha. How do you figure out which color will work? That's a cool question. Study your knowledge of colors, go instinctively. Do you choose them by seeing a reference or prepare them first? I don't really prepare colors apart from like this purple stuff I was talking about with alizarin crimson and ultramarine, that I'll like mix them. And that's, at the moment, that's the kind of the dark that I go for. And sometimes like if it's really light, then often it'll be like a yellow color. And I think Ian Goldsmith posted something, because he's been doing all this amazing color study stuff, and there was this really interesting diagram that like if he painted out all these different colors and then turned it to black and white, and you could see the value, like how the different colors directly related to different values. And so yellow is like always the brightest, and then blue is actually like a really dark blue is kind of the darkest we'll get. And then like experimenting with that and having like a range within, sometimes I pick things out from the reference and go with that, or if there's a kind of color that I've been playing around with or familiar with, or that I might use that. But what's really cool, like about the kind of color as value that I was just talking about, how yellow is light and blue is dark. It's really cool to take a black and white photo and just experiment like that, where you're like even just looking at the palette and squinting at it, I can see I've got this really bright green, really bright yellow, and like just choosing based on the brightness of the color what value is going to be in what color. That has been a fun way to work. And some of the pieces in my watercolor class, that was something I did with a black and white photo, just to be really kind of free and experimental with the colors and get really loose with it. And just the experience of trying things out and being loose and experimenting is so helpful. So doing stuff with a short time frame, like not taking a particular piece too seriously, but like, okay, I'm gonna spend 10 minutes on this watercolor, which in the past I would have been like really terrified of the idea of trying to do something watercolor in 10 minutes, but just to become more relaxed and loose in the approach, that makes the experience of experimenting and trying out different things possible. And also perhaps having like a big thing for me in the beginning that I found really difficult with experimentation was that I had this really nice watercolor paper and I was like really precious with it. Lydia got some fun suggestion for the whiskers. Having material, learning with materials that you're not afraid to mess up with. And I had this really expensive paper and I was like, I'm afraid to even paint anything on it. And then perhaps it's a good idea just to get paper that's not so, not so fancy. Or the paints. And making my own inks, actually, that didn't help with color because it was very muted. I like sepia. Everything was kind of browns. But it helped in the sense that I was able to experiment a lot in the value range with a very inexpensive material. Like I had made so much of my own pigment that I could really just like drip it on and not worry. Like for some reason, I don't know how it is for everyone, but that was like a really inhibiting factor for me, that I was like, well, there was a phase where I feel like I spent so much on this material, on these supplies, and it kind of made me afraid to use them. And that didn't help at getting any better. Yeah, feel guilty for not using it, but thinking one day in the future when I'm good, I'll be able to use that really expensive stuff. But then you don't earn the right to use it. I said something about the background needing a little something. I got this wild bright green, May green color. Should I just go like super green? There's no green in the rest of it, so it'll be different. It's just going to be green. I wouldn't say it's more important than the face, but I think I'm hoping like the contrast between the greenness and the warmth, the redness of the face, that they would just kind of make the face a bit brighter and don't want to distract from the face, but I do want some kind of wetness and just something filling in the white of the paper. Cobalt cookies. Too late. Sorry, Barbara. I'd already put it down. There's a bit of a lag. Mix it with cobalt turquoise and May green. Really? Let's see. Put a bit of... Bye-bye, Aphrodite. Thank you so much for getting me to draw your animals. Thank you for the commission. It was a lot of fun drawing your furry friends. So I put a bit of this cobalt turquoise in there, but without going too hard with it, so that it's not distracting too much from the portrait. And now I was just wondering, maybe I can just finish up the details in the face with pencil. Like it's very, very faint, and I like this. There's this kind of softness to it, but a bit more line work and definition I think would be cool. I'm going to just use this big noisy pencil sharpener. Maybe it's less noisy not holding it on the table. Ah, that makes sense, because the whole table vibrating would be picked up by the microphone. All of the pieces that I showed as I was letting people know about this live stream, and almost all of the pieces that I've ever done in live streams, I still have. If anyone, rather than a commission, if there's something of mine that you really like, or maybe you've been along and you've been drawing along and you really enjoyed what I made and what we made together, like a lot of my work is still available. If anyone's ever interested in anything I do, don't hesitate to ask, because I'll be happy to sell it all. Oh, the watch face. It's kind of golden. I've just left it like the whitest thing of the whole drawing, the whole portrait. Huh. This might be a bit silly, but I have this gold pencil and the watch is kind of gold. I'm just gonna gold pencil it in. Yeah, it's kind of a bit shiny. was just thinking for the rings. I've hardly used it. Speaking of rings, JJ makes really cool rings and things. It was really cool. Last week, hang out with JJ. And now seeing the new work, if you're still here, JJ, everyone go check out the Muse Memorandum, where you won't necessarily see, I think you will see some of JJ's jewelry, but the Muse Memorandum YouTube channel is a series of really cool conversations. And JJ, who conducts said conversations, makes really cool jewelry. And since we had our chat, all the new pieces you've posted since then, I feel like I have a new appreciation and connection to seeing your work after having now had a couple of conversations, which is really nice. I often wonder about how different what I'm seeing looks to what you're seeing. It's really tricky to get the color like exactly right. This is maybe closer though. Yeah, I just switched the color profile on the camera. I think that's closer to how it actually looks. And maybe I might call this done now. I see possibilities how I could keep changing some things, but maybe for this live stream we'll say that this is it. I feel like the hair is calling to me a bit, and like a bit more of the flash feeling in the jacket. It's really cool. It's how I never take photos with direct, like frontal flash photography. Any flash. I don't take photos with flash. But I've noticed in paintings that I really like, that there's often this really cool, like really intense shadow that comes from that flash. And I guess it has a really, has like a period feel to it, like the photos of my childhood. Do people here like doing flash photography? There's an interesting thing with watercolor that it's really vibrant and intense, and sometimes dark when you put it on wet, and then it dries to a softer version of itself than when it's wet and has that vibrancy and intensity. Yeah, yeah. Good night, Barbara. Thank you for being here and joining us. I'm going to get ready for bed soon too. I think we're almost done. Thank you for studying with us. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Have an amazing, everyone wish Shannon an amazing exam. You can do it. You know, I wish you wonderful things for your exam and for all things. Really? Okay. Tolling just knows. Okay. I think this is done. I didn't keep track of the time after 14 minutes. Thank you. I'm glad you think it's great. So, cool. Thank you. So this time, unlike my other multiple portrait live streams, I'm not giving any of them away. I'm selling them all, and they're all spoken for. But I will have a look. Here we have Perla, the cat, Blue, the dog, and Rosalind, who I think I'll come back to. But it was fun. It was a warm up. Always takes a bit to get going. But thank you so much to everyone who shared their loved ones' faces. I think no one that we've drawn was actually like draw me, which is it's interesting. Like, who gets portraits of themselves commissioned? If anyone does want me, you would? Okay. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know if there was like a super cool photo. If there was some cool, compelling reference that was super fun to draw from. So if anyone would ever like me to paint yourself or one of your loved ones, so based on today, it could be your loved ones or your pets, let me know. Thank you everyone for joining. The 13 of you that are still here, you're amazing, and I love you for sticking with me. And special thanks to everyone in the Zoom room. It's been great having you here for the conversation. And I would love to see your work. So use the hashtag drawing with Dylan if you're sharing in places. And yeah, can't wait to see. Take care, everyone. And until next time, my pleasure, my pleasure.